what happens? Are we saying some thrones are more equal than the others? This is definitely not Animal Farm, and it would be wrong for us to say that. Some cultures deserve a front seat while the rest of us must watch from the gallery. No, we will not watch. My people, let us talk truthfully, seriously. For ye are a royal priesthood. Yes, I know some of you will say that's for those of us that are Christians, right? You're not a Christian. But by that command, I can tell you that no throne is bigger than the other. And so Nigeria cannot and should not and must not bow to a dangerous bill. So let me just go straight to it. Let me begin by saying this clearly and without hesitation. Nigeria is not the property of any tribe, throne, or tradition. No, no, no. We're a nation built on many stories, many struggles, and many strengths. And now we're being asked, not asked, we're being pushed to accept a law that could burn the bridge that barely holds us together. Because right now, we all know that not a lot of people are proud to say they are Nigerians. Not a lot of people want to stay in this entrapment that we call nation. Anyway, there is a proposed bill before the National Assembly, and if you haven't heard about it, let me be the first to tell you what it means in plain language. The bill wants to grant permanent superiority, yes, superiority to two traditional rulers, the Sultan of Sokoto and the Oni of Ife. It seeks to make them permanent co-chairs of Nigeria's National Council of Traditional Rulers. Now, to some, this might sound harmless, maybe even honorable. After all, these are respected thrones and long-standing cultural significance. Yes, I agree, but let's not be fooled. This is not about respect. It's about power. It's about hierarchy, and it's dangerous. Very dangerous. So ask yourself this question. What happens to the Oba of Benin, the Obi of Onitsha, the Torn Thief, the Ata of Igala, the Amayanabo of Kalabari, the Amayanabo of Urusarama, the Shehu of Borno, the Aces, the Obongs, the Olus, the Ohinoi? What happens to them? Pride and dignity of every kingdom, every chieftain, and every traditional institution across this land. What happens to the natural rulers of their people? What happens? Are we saying some thrones are more equal than the others? This is definitely not Animal Farm, and it would be wrong for us to say that. Some cultures deserve a front seat while the rest of us must watch from the gallery. No, we will not watch. Let's call this what it is, an insult to our collective identity. We have seen this movie before. We know it. This is not the first time Nigeria has tried to create kings amongst kings or to elevate one region's heritage above the others. During colonial rule, Nigeria tried it. We were divided and ruled. The British picked favorites, distorted our traditions, and imposed false traditions. Forced hierarchies, falls all over the place that served their interest, not ours. Post-independence, the wounds never truly healed. They're still there, some still bleeding. Civil wars, coups, and countless ethnic clashes have all fed off the dangerous idea that some groups must always dominate others. Isn't that what all the fight in Nigeria is about? Your thief is better than my thief. We know that somebody is completely wrong, but because he comes from where we come from, we support the foolishness. Isn't that what this is about? The divide and rule that brought us this far and drowned us in hate and anger for one another. And now, when we should be building trust and healing old scars, we're digging up old bones and calling them golden thrones. Let me ask again, for whose benefit? Who would it benefit to sideline all other traditional rulers, kings, and rulers of their people? Who? Symbolism can destroy as powerfully as policy. Supporters of this bill will say it's just a formality, that it's symbolic, that the Oni and the Sultan are widely respected and should be recognized. I agree. So should the others as well. So should all the kings. So should the Amainabo of Kalabari, the Amainabo of Grand Boni, the Amainabo of Opobo. So should they. So should the Obi of Onitsha, the Ezes, the Obongs, the Tontiv. So should they. They're widely respected and should be recognized by their country. But in Nigeria, symbolism is never a just symbolic thing. When you grant 2 thrones permanent authority over all others, you're not just making a gesture, you're rewriting power. You're rewriting millions of Nigerians, your kings, your queens, your chiefs, your cultures, told not to be enough, not to be good enough. That's what this bill is about. Relegating others to the background, while 2 are placed above others, putting 2 tribes above every other tribe in Nigeria. We're not fools. We see through you. We see through the lies and the hypocrisy. This is how resentment festers, how anger grows, how protests begin, how a nation cracks under its own arrogance. We cannot afford that now. Not when the economy is struggling, not when insecurity is rising, not when our youths are still searching for hope and finding none. When young people go out daily looking for a job and returning hopeless. Then the government throws a question of representation and religion. That's another layer to this, and it must be said. Both the Sultan and the Oni represent Muslim-dominated regions. While this is not an attack on any faith, Nigeria is not an Islamic nation. Nigeria is a diverse mix of Christianity, Islamic religion, and indigenous beliefs. This bill, by giving 2 religious monarchs permanent seats at the top, risks tipping the balance in dangerous ways. What message are we sending to the Christian monarchs of Southeast and South-South? To the traditionalists of the Middle Belt? That their religious identities are not fit for national leadership? That's not just unjust. It is completely unconstitutional. We must not be silent. Let me be clear. This is not about the Sultan. It is not about the Oni. It is about what happens when a country begins to forget that equality is the only way forward. We cannot and must not let this bill pass without resistance. We must demand that if there is a council of traditional rulers, its leadership must rotate. Let every region, every kingdom, every people have a turn. That is what unity looks like to me. That is what justice smells like to me. If we stay silent, we become architects of our own oppression. And I will not conspire against myself and betray my people by staying silent in the face of this intimidation. So I am speaking now, and I want you, yes, you listening and watching this, to speak too. We have been silent for too long. Call your representatives and ask them what side of history they want to stand on. Let your own voice be as loud as the others. Join this conversation online, in your communities, in your churches, mosques, and town halls. Let this be a conversation. Let us not wait until the damage is done to raise alarm and then they tell us how difficult it is to change it. Or they begin to tell you they want to review what will never be reviewed. All the many reviews that they have attempted, how many have they succeeded with? Let us raise our voices loud now. Because no throne should sit higher than the people who built it. Nigeria belongs to all of us. And so we must all be accorded equal respect. My name is Hilda Dokubo, and this is the Oracle. This Oracle will continue to speak.